Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, revisionism couldn't save Star Trek Lower Decks. What do I mean by that? Well, Star Trek Lower Decks started off really disrespecting Star Trek. The main character, Mariner, who was supposed to be the person that we identify with, that is the voice of the show, hated Starfleet, hated Star Trek by default. Didn't take it seriously, didn't respect it, did everything that she could to subvert it, usurp it, everything. She was just a horrible character, and that was how those people that made the show saw Star Trek. They saw it as a joke, something old and stodgy and lame and ridiculous that shouldn't have been respected, that should have been made a joke out of. That's basically, they looked at the show from the outside, they laughed at it as entertainment. They didn't actually see it as entertaining or good or of value. So that's what they ended up creating. And that wasn't well received by fans. The canonness of the animated universe, like an animated version of the proper Star Trek canon universe, was something fans appreciated. All the throwbacks, the information, all the member berries and just the amount of canon and history that they brought into the show was appreciated, but the attitude towards Star Trek and Starfleet wasn't appreciated. So they changed this. They slowly changed the character and turned her made excuses for her, explaining why she was so horrible, and then sort of made her act less horrible and allowed some of the other characters to just be happy being Starfleet officers, and allow fans to watch the show by default through them. But it was just too late, because they had just turned off enough Star Trek fans, and just the idea of an animated show, people just were never going to accept that on some level anyway. And just the fact that it was a parody and it was there to basically make fun of Star Trek, not to be funny, not to be a funny Star Trek show, but to make fun of Star Trek, to laugh at it, not laugh with it, not create things that were funny that fans could enjoy and laugh with Star Trek. They're laughing at Star Trek. Star Trek was being made fun of. That's usually what other studios do when they do parodies. They make fun of another show, another genre or another show from another studio or something, another franchise. But this was Star Trek itself making fun of itself, demeaning itself. But I guess they felt they could do that because it was New Trek doing that with original canon Star Trek, which is a different universe and everything, different copyright, different IP. That's basically CBS. They're basically, depends on which year you're talking about, depending on the merger. But it's just, it didn't work. Didn't save the show. They did make changes in the last year or so, and also the very idea that Lower Decks existed was something we saw in Next Gen, but they weren't treated any less. They weren't like the jokes or the scum or the slaves of the ship, and that's the way they were portrayed in the first season. And by the fifth season, they'd all been promoted, so they were no longer they couldn't stay Lower Decks forever unless they had just kept them losers and just had them be stuck there the whole time. That's the only way that would have worked. But either way, nothing they did, none of the changes saved it. The show was cancelled. It's a good thing. It'd be nice if they could erase it, but they can't. It'd be nice if they could remove it forever, so people couldn't watch it and laugh at Star Trek and then not be able to take Star Trek seriously because it's already been parodied by itself. That none of that damage can be undone. But I just sort of wanted to ponder a little bit the way that they did try to change the Mariner character and tried to show some respect for Star Trek, but it was too late by the time they actually put that into action. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye. Except, you know who you are. You don't need to tell me what you think. We already heard your regurgitated cut and paste PR Paramount CBS responses. We don't need to hear them.